Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here today, my name is Odds, and we got the ears on, and we're by our Disney poster because we're going to be ranking the Disney parks. I'm going to give you a breakdown of all the parks. If you've never been to any of them, that will be kind of extensive, but we have lots of the parks to go to. So I have been to all 8 of the Western Disney parks, so I feel like I can definitely do this video now. I have not been to any of the Disney parks in Asia, so that would be another video when I finally get the chance to go over there. I would love to, but for right now we're just comparing the Western Disney Resorts. So we have 3 of them overall. I'll break them down for you and then give my ranking at the very end. And if you're new here today, I would love for you to subscribe, stick around. I am doing more theme park content on my channel this year, and I can link some of the theme park vlogs from the past. I recently did go to the Disneyland Resort last year, so that was the last Disney parks I've been to, so they will get mentioned, and yeah, that is it. But if you also want to give this a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that as well. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm going in order of the resorts that I wrote down in that particular order, but it's not gonna, the first park I mentioned is not going to necessarily be number 1. So that's just to go over. So the first resort is the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, or Buena Vista, or Celebration, Florida, since they technically own the city. It's not in Orlando, really. It's in its own private land. So that's how the Disney parks in Florida run. They have their own municipalities. They have their own fire stations. They have everything you could need. It's really kind of scary, but that's what we deal with in Orlando, Florida. Those are my home parks. I am originally from Florida, 45 minutes east of Orlando, so Disney is about an hour away. Based on where I'm originally from. I'm not there now. I now live in Atlanta, but when I am there at home visiting my family, Disney's only about an hour away. So we're going to start with Magic Kingdom. That's the poster behind me, which you can't see very well because it's hung up pretty high. But that is, I would say, the main park of Walt Disney World. It is the one that everyone thinks of. It's the one with Cinderella's castle. And it is a beautiful park. It is, I really enjoy it overall. Now, Magic Kingdom is going to look very similar to Disneyland, very similar to Disneyland Paris, in the fact that they're the theme parks with the castles in them. But we're going to talk about those other 2 parks when we get into them later. But I think Magic Kingdom overall is a nice park to go to. It's usually the one, I mean, any Disney park you go to is going to have tons of kids at that park, but that is the biggest kid park out of all of them. Now, that being said, no alcohol is sold in the park, except I believe at Be Our Guest. I still haven't eaten there. I would love to. It is a sit-down, reservation required restaurant that is based on Beauty and the Beast. So there's that, but this park is mainly, I feel like, a quick service restaurant. It's not big on sitting, like a sit-down sort of meal where you have a menu in front of you. It's more quick service, which if you don't know what quick service is, it's the type of restaurant where you go up to the counter, you order your food there, you get it on a tray, and then you go find a place to sit. So Magic Kingdom is pretty much like that, and it holds the classic Disneyland attractions. So it has Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, all the mountains, and I think it does a lot of those rides better than Disneyland does. So again, we're going to talk about that when we get there, but I think this is some of the best versions of those classic rides. And this park is the 2nd oldest park. It is celebrating its 50th year. Last year it opened in 1971. And yeah, The other thing I want to mention is best ride from this. My best favorite ride from this is going to be Splash Mountain, which is currently closed for refurbishment at the time where I'm filming this, but it will be back up within the next few weeks, and it is going to get a Princess and the Frog overlay. We don't know the time frame for that yet, but I'm super excited for it because I love Princess and the Frog. I think that movie is so underrated. So we have that to look forward to Magic Kingdom. And also the Tron Light Cycle Run will be opening hopefully next year, if not beginning of hopefully this year, if not beginning of next year, when they're wrapping up their 50th anniversary celebrations that have been going on for 2 years at that point. Next park is Animal Kingdom. Now, this is kind of your zoo theme park hybrid. Now, they do a lot of animal conservation there, which I think is really awesome. While Animal Kingdom doesn't have the same number of attractions that Magic Kingdom does, the attractions they do have really outweigh the attractions at Magic Kingdom and a lot of the parks overall. Now, this is where you have Expedition Everest, you have the Land of Pandora, where there's 2 Avatar rides. I've only been on one. I haven't been on Flight of Passage, which is like everybody's favorite ride there. And also I really love Dinosaur. So lots of great rides at Animal Kingdom, and then you also get to see all of the animals, and there is a little kid petting zoo that you can go to. It's very adorable. Lots of great kind of unique characters you can see there. This is where you'll see characters from The Lion King and from The Jungle Book. Like I've seen Rafiki, I've seen Baloo. So there's lots of characters like that you won't see at the other parks. There are great food and drink options. My favorite restaurant there is Yak and Yeti. It is over by Expedition Everest. It's a great sit-down restaurant. At any time I've been, I haven't had to have a reservation, but with this kind of climate, I think say go ahead and make a reservation if you want to eat there. And there's lots of great things to drink. So this park definitely sells alcohol. So if you're looking for some booze while you enjoy your theme park, I would definitely recommend Animal Kingdom over Magic Kingdom. They're just a completely different vibe of theme parks for sure. And special shout out to the Tree of Life, because I think that landmark is absolutely gorgeous and is probably the best icon that they have at the parks. Next up is Hollywood Studios. Now, this park has gotten a major overhaul since it's first been opened. It used to be MGM, which when I went when I was little, it was called MGM. Now it is Hollywood Studios because they don't have the deal with MGM anymore, and they want to bank on their own properties more. So this park has some of the best rides. Now, I think I did just mention that about Animal Kingdom, but I will be completely honest, my favorite rides are here in Hollywood Studios. So you have Rock and Roller Coaster, you have the Tower of Terror, which are both classic attractions that were there on opening day, as well as the Indiana Jones Stunt Show, Muppet Vision, and Galaxy's Edge, which is the biggest part of the park. Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, 2 really big areas of the park, and overall really great areas of the park. Galaxy's Edge is beautiful. Toy Story Land is so quirky and unique of a land, although it does show up in one other park that we will talk about in a bit. But I think that it's so great to have all that stuff there because honestly, it doesn't seem like a full day park. So while it has maybe a few more attractions than Animal Kingdom has, Animal Kingdom also has the animals. So you can go there for a full day, do some attractions, see some animals, do that. Hollywood Studios just pretty much has a few rides. You're probably going to wait hours for Rise of the Resistance, so maybe it will be a full day park because you're waiting hours for it. But yeah, I think overall it's a great park and it's one of my personal favorites. Again, we'll get into the ranking later. But I think the addition of Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land were absolutely necessary for this park to be ranked as high as I'm gonna rank it. And the best ride I don't know if I mentioned my best ride from Animal Kingdom, but it was Expedition Everest, which is undergoing refurbishment until April, I believe. And then Hollywood Studios, my best ride is Rise of the Resistance, because it's absolutely chef's kiss amazing. Last park we have in the Walt Disney World Resort is Epcot. Now, this is my least favorite of the parks there in Florida, just because this park needs a major overhaul, and it is getting it, which is exciting. Wearing one of my Guardians shirts, my Disney Parks Guardian shirt, because Cosmic Rewind, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, will be opening this summer at Epcot. Now, they're also opening a Moana walkthrough attraction. I think it's like the Life of Water, something about water. But they're breaking the park into new sections, which I think is really necessary, because the park seemed extremely dated. It has a big, like, 80s feel, which makes sense because it's going to be celebrating its birthday soon. But I think it just needed the overhaul, and once it is completely overhauled, I think it'll be much better of a park. The World Showcase is nice, both from an educational perspective and if you want to be a huge day drinker, you can go drink around the world, which is the easiest time to do it is at the Food and Wine Festival. They host lots of festivals. They're currently hosting the Festival of the Arts, which they're selling food and alcohol there for that, and also the Flower and Garden Festival, which has food and drink booths as well. So pretty much year-round, you're going to find food booths and drink booths, and you can just go into any of the restaurants as well and just get something to drink. This is the biggest adult park because there is the most amount of drinking you can do. So if you're a drinking Disney adult, then I would definitely recommend Epcot. And my best ride there was, so far, is Test Track, but I know it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. That video will be up. I'm going on opening day, so stay tuned for that. Next, we're going to talk about the other resort in the United States, the Disneyland Resort. These are the ones I went to most recently. I just went there in November, so a lot of that stuff is fresh in my mind. I can imagine the parks, how they are. Pretty fresh in my mind since I was just there. Now, Disneyland is the oldest park in the Disney legacy of parks. So it's the original, it's the OG. There are some fun opening day attractions that are still there. I will say about this park, I think a lot of the rides seem very dated. Now, I'm sure they're constantly being refurbished, so don't get me wrong about that, but we went on, and it was fun. We went on the Matterhorn, and that was like janky and kind of terrifying. But even like your Thunder Mountain, your Space Mountain especially, I just felt that when they opened them at the other parks, they really improved upon their original models. So a lot of the other parks have better versions of those rides. These are just the originals. I will say this has the Galaxy's Edge, so again, you're getting Rise of the Resistance, which is awesome. And we did go to Oga's Cantina, which was easier to get in there than it was to get in Florida. Now, I don't know why that's necessarily the case. Maybe Disneyland's letting in less people than Disney World. Who knows? But Oga's Cantina is going to be the one place you can get a drink in Disneyland. So they don't have many drink options for you, like alcoholic drink options for you, but you can get them at Oga's Cantina, but you're usually limited to a specific time and usually about 1 or 2 drinks. That's kind of your max. And that being said, they're all pre-mixed drinks. They're not making them for you right behind the bar, so if that's something you're looking forward to, you're not going to find it at Disneyland. I do also want to mention they have really fun overlays of their holiday attractions. So they have a very fun Haunted Mansion holiday overlay for Christmas, as well as It's a Small World holiday for Christmas. But it's really fun. I did not get to go on It's a Small World because this past year it flooded and damaged the ride structure, so they had it closed for a few weeks. So unfortunately I didn't get to ride it, but I did get to see it It's absolutely beautiful, and I think if you love the holidays, Disneyland during the holidays is a great time to go. And my best ride there, I would say, is Indiana Jones. I'm not going to give it to Rise of the Resistance, because I already gave that to the one in Hollywood Studios, so I'll say Indiana Jones because I think that's a unique ride and it was really fun. The other park at Disneyland Resort is California Adventure. Now, the biggest draw of California Adventure has to be Avengers Campus, and I will let you know, it does not disappoint. You're going to see stunt shows, you're going to see characters walking around for meet and greets, you're going to see Guardians dance off, you're going to be able to ride Mission Breakout. You're probably going to wait for an hour in line for Web Slingers and then it breaks down for you, because new attractions are always like that. But yes, I say this is great. It also has Pixar Pier, which is a beautiful section of the park. Now there's the Incredicoaster, there's the big, it's called the Pixar Pal Around, or the big, well, I like to call it the Big Mickey Wheel. Is there. Very photogenic, very great. It has a very unique vibe for a Disney park. It almost feels not as Disney-ish, which is funny because they have all the Pixar and Marvel overlays, but it feels different. I can't really describe it, but it just feels like a different park. And my best ride that I have to put there is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Last resort we're talking about is Disneyland Paris. Now, I went in 2019, so it's not as fresh on my mind. It was about two and a half years ago. Disneyland Paris, from what I remember, it just has the classic Disneyland attractions. So, like I said, I think this park does some of those attractions better, and some of them are pretty similar to how they are at Magic Kingdom. The two big standouts that I will point out from Disneyland Paris is going to be Hyperspace Mountain and the Haunted Mansion. Now, the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland Paris has a whole other vibe to it, and it's much longer and has more animatronics than the other two parks that mainly have projections. Hyperspace Mountain is Space Mountain with a Star Wars overlay. It's very funny because it's in French, but you still get the gist of what's going on. And this has both a launch and a loop in the ride. So it's the only Space Mountain to launch and loop, which I think should be mentioned. Not many rides at Disney in general go upside down, so this is one of two that I can think of that go upside down, so pretty big deal. And my best ride is Hyperspace Mountain because it's an awesome version of Space Mountain. Walt Disney Studios is kind of just a little secondary park to Disneyland Paris. It is the smallest Disney park that is in existence, so it's going to be really, really small. It has a version of the Tower of Terror. It also has a whole Nemo area and a whole Toy Story land. But the Toy Story land is like much more dumbed down than the one in Hollywood Studios. It's definitely not a full day park, but my favorite ride there is the Tower of Terror. I think it's one of the better versions of Tower of Terror, although I would still have to give that to Guardians of the Galaxy because I think that revamp of Tower of Terror was absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to give you my rankings. This has been a long overview of all the parks, but hopefully it was helpful. Here's my ranking. I'm doing best rides, best food, and then overall I'll put them in order. So, winner of best rides from the Disneyland, Disney World, and Disneyland Paris resorts has to go to Hollywood Studios. Nothing can beat the fact that they have a trifecta, even a cool, like they have 5 really solid rides. They have Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, Slinky Dog Dash, Rise of the Resistance, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is there as well. And yeah, so they have 5 really solid rides there. Lots of other fun stuff to do in that park as well. This is where you're going to get your Star Wars stuff on. So definitely would say best rides goes to Hollywood Studios. Best food has to go to Epcot. Food and drink has to go to Epcot. Now, there are so many food and drink options at this park, even outside of there being festivals happening year-round pretty much. Because of the World Showcase, you have so many good food options. A lot of these are required with reservations. So if you want to eat at Epcot, I would say you can always find stuff at food booths and quick service, but I would say if you have a particular cuisine you're really interested in, like whether that be Chinese, Japanese, German, French, I would go try to make a reservation online for one of those restaurants there, because I think that you will not be disappointed with what you are given. Overall, here's my picks. I'm gonna do last to first. So coming in at number 8 is Walt Disney Studios, the companion park to Disneyland Paris. Now, it's ranked last just because it's the smallest park and it doesn't really have a lot of rides or attractions. It seems kind of dated for a park, but it is getting an Adventures Campus expansion, which I think will be really beneficial for that park, so we'll definitely see moving forward. Coming in at number 7, I'm so sorry, it is Epcot. I just think this park desperately needs that revamp, which is happening sometime soon. It's happening over the next few years, which I'm really excited about, but it just desperately needs a revamp. I mean, there's stuff to do. It's more educational. I've been there on a lot of field trips, so it's not necessarily like, woo, let me go on a lot of rides and attractions. It's definitely a lot different of a theme park. Coming in at number 6, I'm so sorry, it's Disneyland. Now, as I said, the original doesn't always do it better. There's a lot of outdated attractions that are at this park, including like Space Mountain was really slow and didn't feel like anything special. And the other parks just did the newer versions of them better. You know, you can always improve upon something when you're making it again, so that's kind of the unfortunate reality with Disneyland. At number 5 is the Magic Kingdom. As you can see, these parks are not, it's very similar to Disneyland. It's a classic park. Cinderella's Castle is magnificent, and it has fun rides, but it is overall pretty kid-run because it's Disney and everyone wants to go see the castle. It's fun, but it's not the best. Coming in at number 4 is California Adventure. Now, I think this park is just so unique. The reason it's ranked 4 and not higher is because I think it's just not really a full-day park. You can't get a lot of stuff, you can get most of the stuff done pretty easily, pretty quickly, so I don't think that you're going to really find too much to do, but I do think it's a very unique park, so that's why it's ranked as high as it is. Top 3. Can you guess them? With what we have left. Number 3 is Disneyland Paris. Now, I think this has the best version of all the classic rides. Your Haunted Mansion, your Thunder Mountain, your Splash Mountain, I think there's a Splash Mountain there, your Hyperspace Mountain. I didn't ride Splash Mountain when I went because it was like 45 degrees. But this is killing it with Hyperspace Mountain. I mean, nothing is coming into that. And it looks like Disneyland, like the original OG Disneyland. So it's the better version of Disneyland in my opinion. Like I said, these are just opinions, so don't come for me. But I put Disneyland Paris at number 3. And then top 2, this actually surprised me because I would have thought that 2 and 1 would have been switched, and I know it's my ranking, but I thought about this and had to put it the way that it was. So, number 2 is Hollywood Studios. Now, as I mentioned, I didn't think this was a full-day park. They did expand a lot of stuff and add new elements to the park. Now you have Toy Story Land, you have Galaxy's Edge. There's a new Toy Story Land restaurant opening up soon. I'm sure they will eventually expand Galaxy's Edge, but I think This park is beautiful, it's fun, it has such unique vibes in every section of the park, and overall the attractions are amazing at this park, so I have to put it at number 2. And then number 1 is Animal Kingdom. Now, I was kind of surprised because I thought Hollywood Studios was my favorite park, but when I really think about it, Animal Kingdom is a great park. It is a perfect zoo attractions hybrid, great food, great drinks, great snacks, great animals, great attractions. Overall, really great, and I can't wait to go back. Right now, I'm waiting on that because Expedition Everest is down for, I think, until April. So I will be definitely going in the summer after I go to Epcot for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. But I'm really excited overall for that and to see what direction they take for any future Animal Kingdom expansions. Those were all just my opinion. I'm sure for people who are their home parks, I put a lot of my home parks higher. You might have your own reasons to rank some stuff higher than others. That's kind of my thing. I think nostalgia does play a factor in it, but overall, I think I've been pretty unbiased about the parks. As you see, like Magic Kingdom and Epcot aren't ranked too high. So these are just my opinions, and I would love to hear what your ranking is down below if you've been to all the parks, what your thoughts are down below. As always, I have been Odds. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please subscribe. There will be more theme park videos coming on my channel soon. I literally went to Universal this past weekend, and there will be a Universal Studios vlog coming on this channel within the next week. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday with a new video. Bye!